She did
Yeah,
Facebook.
I did
Oh, okay.
Facebook and posted on my Twitter.
Hi.
This is Tony and Chelsea Live.
And Madeline.
Right. And Madeline, we have our special guest, our daughter, here today. Today we're looking at outdoor portraits.
And this episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website or portfolio. It features a beautiful interface, beautiful templates, and incredible 24/7 customer support. So you can go to squarespace.com/Tony, and you can try it out for 14 days, no credit card needed. And if you decide that you like it, I think that you will, you can use the coupon code portfolio to get 10% off. It gives you 10% off. It also tells Squarespace that we're doing a good job plugging Squarespace, and then they make the show possible. So that's how that works.
We also have in Philly our screener Siobhan, screener and producer, who's going through your comments and will read them to us periodically through the show.
Siobhan?
I should let you know that your grid and weird little camera info is showing up on the screen.
Oh, thank you. And that brings up a good point. Today,
Justin is not here.
So you talk, people.
But I'm going to see how well it tracks my face.
Also, your sound is very high.
Who, all of us, or?
Chelsea and Tony.
Madeline.
Yeah.
You're just fine.
Yeah.
Well, Justin is usually monitoring this stuff, or supposed to. I think he's doing it.
Yeah, is that any better? I turned myself way down. Tell me how it goes, and we'll adjust it further. Sorry for the technical problems. We'll take a look at a couple of portfolios today. If you want to send your portfolio in, go to sdp.io/link, and we might review it, assuming it's a Squarespace portfolio. We have a bunch of photo news today. We're going to be looking at your outdoor portraits if you're watching in real time live. And what else? Some chit chat?
We have some chit chat. We have some other things.
So if you want to send in your photo, go to northrup.photo/submit. There's a little form there. Your photo will go through the internet magically, and then Siobhan will take a look at it and pass it forward to us. And we can
People
look at
were
it in a minute.
asking if outdoor portraits of dogs counted. And I said yes, because dogs are people. And I just want to make it clear, no other animal counts.
Okay, good.
Okay.
We narrowed that down a little bit.
What about
We're
a monkey?
allowing dogs.
What about a monkey?
I do like monkeys.
That's impressive enough where I'm going to let that go through. Next week, we're doing fun colors. And people are probably like, fun colors? What does that even mean?
I'm wondering that too.
Fun colors? Well, I was thinking you could try your hand at split toning. You could use gels on your flashes. You could add unusual colors in Photoshop. But I'm not talking like fall colors or like someone's colorful jacket. I'm talking about really funky post-processing, artistic kind of stuff. Not spot color.
Okay, so maybe it's a good opportunity to get out there and like try something new. Use this as creative inspiration. Interpret fun colors in some way and take a new picture in the next week. So you can send it in next Thursday at
No
5.
one's going to watch that show. They're not. Everybody likes portraits or like landscapes, but bring fun colors into it and
Well,
forget
we'll
it.
be pumped for this show then.
Fun
Wait,
colors!
The poll, you can go to sdp.io/poll30, and I'm just interested in what sort of lighting techniques people use when they do outdoor portraits. Do you just do totally natural light? Do you use reflectors and diffusers? Okay. You could just talk, Siobhan. It's not like we have we're even
I
pretending.
know, I
any
just
sort
want to
of
interrupt you. You guys are very
professionalism.
good at not having too many pauses during your speech. But everyone's told me that Chelsea was clipping.
Okay, I turn it down more if it's still a problem.
Why am I
You know,
so
if you're on a
loud?
mic or something.
Still looks loud. Okay.
Some photo news. There were a lot of new camera announcements this week because we're getting close to the holiday season, so everybody wants to get their new gear
Everybody's
out.
getting their new gear
and
out.
hopefully sell it. The Canon announcement was the Canon M10, and this is, in my opinion, their largely forgotten mirrorless system. We've never even reviewed one of these. They only have like a handful of lenses, like 3 or 4 lenses for it. But I thought I'd mention it. The M10, which is $600 with a lens that only comes in a kit. It's cute. It's
It looks
small.
like Johnny 5.
I do love the little flip
You know
up.
Johnny 5?
No.
Oh my god! Well,
Oh.
you've never seen
What kind of parents do you
what's the
have?
movie called with Johnny Five?
Short Circuit.
Short Circuit.
Johnny
You've
5
never seen
Alive,
it.
the little robot. Oh, man.
That's weird because we watched it recently. We just watched it without Madeline.
We were like, Madeline's not home. Which movie can we watch? Johnny 5.
So that's an interchangeable lens camera. This is a fixed lens camera, like what we used to call a point and shoot, except it's a real serious point and shoot, the G5X.
Serious.
So that means it's got manual controls on it. It's got pretty good image quality. It has, and you can't change the lens out. It has a fixed 24 to 100 millimeter f5 to f7.6 basically equivalent lens. No 4K. It's 20 megapixels. It's okay. We also, well, of course, the Sony CEO personally showed us this new camera.
I keep thinking foul language and then remembering Madeline's here.
Yeah, we're keeping it a little bit cleaner.
Sony really got us.
Yeah.
Because they invited us to an event. Actually, they're very nice to us. They invited us to an event, and they gave us an A7S II for the night, and they set up some models for the press. So there was like a really nice guy from Gizmodo. Michael was there. He introduced himself.
We met a lot of great people.
Yep. So we met a lot of great people, and we thought this camera was the main event. And then the next day we go to a press conference, and they unveiled a whole new camera, which is the RX1R2. Cool name. And yeah, now our video about the A7S II is kind of irrelevant, but this is interesting.
Really big news.
42 megapixels, 35 millimeter fixed lens.
Yeah, full frame.
It's full frame.
And it's
they say
really small.
They say it's pocket size, but I'd say that only applies if you have like a large cargo pocket or a jacket pocket, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be very pocketable if it didn't have the lens attached, but the lens protrudes a good inch or so. It's a big lens, and nobody's pocket is shaped like that.
Yeah. Still, the lens is almost all the way back to the back of the body. They were very clear about that, making it as compact as possible.
It is a cool design. They put the sensor on the lens, so it's smaller than you could possibly get with an interchangeable lens camera.
Yeah. They were very kind to us, except that ruined our lives. Okay.
It has the sensor from the A7R2, which is an incredible 42 megapixel sensor in this tiny little
Here's the thing. It's $3,300.
Yeah, it's a very expensive
$3,300. So I was thinking this is an excellent camera for street photographers because it's small, it's discreet, it looks like a point and shoot. I think you could take a picture of someone, they just think, oh, that's like a tourist or a hobbyist or something like that. But it has this 42 megapixels, and they showed prints and they were gorgeous. But it's fixed lens, so you can't change your lens. Again, that might be fine for a street photographer.
But also no zoom lens. It's a fixed prime lens.
A fixed prime lens,
so you have to be happy with 35 millimeters, which is, I like that focal length. But sometimes I like to change to a different focal length, and that just wouldn't be an option. You'd have to, it's like a second camera, I think, for people who have a big DSLR and they want something smaller to kind of take with them. But these people, so clearly, like, people have a big budget.
Big budget.
$3,300 for your second camra.
I think this is kind of like a Leica almost.
I think of it like a Leica too, except I would much rather have this than a Leica. The new version has a pop-up eyepiece, which is really nice. Previously, you had to get like a second attachment.
That was cool.
More money.
You just press the little button and boop, your eyepiece comes up.
Yeah, it is a novel design. I feel like it's missing a few things. Like it doesn't have image stabilization.
Yeah.
Which, since you're stuck with this one lens and it's like the one camera you have to do for everything, image stabilization would be really nice unless you use lower ISOs when it got dark. It does have a variable AA filter for people who care about that, but I don't really. And a tilt screen, which is new for that series. Yeah. Anyway, it's a cool camera. You can check it out. sdp.io/rx1r2.
What's this?
Another new gadget. This is the thing I'm most excited about these.
That's what Madeline said.
Stick. It's a stabilized selfie stick.
Girl, you're smart.
You don't have to use it for yourself though. It's basically a 4K camera on a gimbal. So you can get nice, smooth moving shots. You could walk with it and get that like silky smooth. If Justin were here, he would play some video.
Play that video, Justin. Womp, womp, womp.
Anyway, if you go to sdp.io/Osmo, you can see videos of it. It hooks up to your iPhone for a display. For $650, that's actually incredibly cheap to get smooth kind of walking shots. People can use GoPros for that, but GoPros are very wide angle.
We should get one of these.
I asked them for a review copy. They reached out to me and offered it, and so we're just kind of waiting.
Oh,
but
awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to review it.
We don't talk, in case you haven't noticed.
Let's take a look at
you guys only talk on camera, right? That's the agreement of your relationship?
Yes, but the thing is, I often carry cameras around just so I can talk to him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What?
Chelsea is still clipping.
I thought it looked really high.
People say that it's input, not an output problem. Chelsea, don't laugh.
Can I see your mic pack, Chelsea? I think I gotta.
Ha ha ha.
I don't know why you're so loud this week. I didn't. Oh boy, this is turning into a real challenge.
This isn't fun. I blame Justin.
Yeah.
Oh, I blame Justin's dad for
Oh yeah,
coming
you're
into
peeking
town.
like crazy.
I'll talk like this. I'm so sorry. I'm but a woman.
So be entertaining while I do this.
I'm whispering. I'll do an ASMR. It's so cool.
Talk for me, Chelsea.
This is Chelsea, and I'm trying not to shatter your eardrums.
You can actually put her up a little bit.
Okay, I did. Hopefully that will work. I don't want to shove that back in your pants. So we look at some Lightroom pictures.
Look at this.
It's a great day to appreciate Justin and all that Justin does. It's like whenever he leaves,
I'm so
it's
mad.
be thankful
Watch this,
for Justin Day.
See my fury. Look at this chill baby with a flag.
This is a great outdoor portrait. He's in an environment. As a little kid, I would have loved this. It's like a train. He's got a
Wait,
good.
stop.
Yeah.
Now there's just like weird mic noises. Make sure you're plugged in correctly, Chels. Or Tony. It sounds like there's a loose cord or something.
I would bet it's Chelsea's mic since I just screwed with it. Is that any better? Are you still having problems? Well, I guess Siobhan will know in a minute.
Yep, it's Chelsea's cord.
Is it better now?
Yes, I
Okay.
think so. Stop moving it.
I literally can't stop.
No, it's still doing it. Sorry, guys.
I wonder if it could be Mad's mic. Is it rubbing against anything? That's your radio.
This is our chairs.
We're not parting.
Okay.
So that was interesting.
I don't know. Is it even solved, or can we go forward, or should we keep troubleshooting this?
I mean, you can go forward, but people are going to keep complaining about it.
Oh.
Okay. You guys try to talk, and I'll just try to get this working.
Cute kid. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what you did right.
Yeah, I can't hear either of you now.
Me or Madeline?
Nope.
I'll just motion with my mouse. Child. 5 stars.
Just give everyone's picture a pic so that they'll stop complaining.
Pick. Pick? Can you even hear me? These really are great. This looks a little out of focus. Where did you focus? Where are you at? Maybe her arm is in focus. Pesky arm. I see some edits here. Gotta be good with that. But this is great. I love the colors. You love it too? I'm gonna give that 5 stars also. I didn't really talk about this one, but she has a nice expression, and I like that she's in the trees and her shirt matches. This is really nice and sharp. Maybe it could be a little brighter. Don't want to blow out her skin. That's nice. And I really did like that baby. What's happening?
What?
Why is her hand doing that?
It looks like she's like.
But with her mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like a fox is there. She's trying to push it out of the way.
I really like the processing in it. I think the colors are nice and everything. I'm distracted by the hand, but that might mean something that I don't know about. And yeah, I think it's nice.
That's better.
It's better?
Yes.
Got it? Why is everything breaking? Hold on a second. Oh, this is interesting. Well, you have to, because it's a portrait, so the subject is their face. And that's kind of the most important part of the picture, so if his face is not in
Can I
focus...
see your mic?
but something else is, then that's a problem.
Don't know where to keep it.
Where's her mic back?
I put it, I attached it to her shirt. Here you go.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so one thing that I do is maybe to bring up his face a little bit.
Now Chelsea just went crazy again. I don't know what just happened.
Are we getting interference with each other's mics or something?
That might be it.
Is that better?
Let's see.
This episode
There you go. You sound fine now.
is real trouble.
It might have been interference.
Okay, Matt, you'll have to talk up. I had to turn your mic off completely, yeah. Speak loudly.
Like really loud, like this?
Oh, that's good.
That's perfect. You guys sound great.
Okay, good. Thanks for the help, Siobhan.
Sheesh.
Sorry about that, guys.
We were late.
Short
Everything's
staff today.
crazy. I think we should just end the show and go to dinner.
We just have to have another drink and power through.
You need juice.
I need juice.
You're my daughter. Okay, so I like the light. The bag is interesting. It makes me wonder what's going on.
I like how his pants are rolled up because then it shows that he's like on the beach.
He's digging in.
Yeah, it's a very impromptu portrait, though. Like, why is he holding the bag? That's weird. I think they decided, hey, it's a cool spot. Let's take a picture, but maybe get him to put the bag down.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe the bag is a key part of his personality.
Maybe
It's cute.
his house is really far away.
Good point, man.
Maybe he went to
Key
the
storytelling there.
He went to the grocery store?
Yeah.
He went to the beach grocery store.
Oh, maybe he's collecting shells.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like her casual pose, but I think that the lighting, it looks like a flash, and it's really hard lighting. What do you think? And also, it's either cropped heavily. It looks like it's cropped heavily because everything's a little bit blurry. What's happening? Outdoor portrait in nice castle. Well,
Yeah, but I think the lighting is nice. You're right. Technically, there's some weird muddiness about it. I'm not sure what causes that, but
yeah, but
it's a good picture. The color's fine. I don't know that there's much editing we can do.
Yeah, but I do like the pose, and I think it's nice. This is beautiful.
I like that one.
Me too. Bye.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot. Do you think it's a deliberate portrait, or is it more like street photography? Was she
It's more
caught
like
off guard?
Street photography.
Yeah.
I'm just brightening it up a little bit.
Yeah, but it's a good shot. Beautiful background blur on it.
This is nice. Wedding shot. What do you think of this crop?
I feel like it's a little uncomfortable. The crop is very close to her elbow, and
But
also
far
there's a
from her
lot of
head?
room from her head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd probably just tighten. I know you guys are going to be shocked, but I'd probably tighten it up some.
Well, I asked you because you're like the crop king. So when I crop something, I always ask you about it. You just have a good eye for that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Let's just get that tightened up a little
You're
bit.
squeaking a lot. Can I help? What do you think about this, Madeline?
I like it. He's casual.
Yeah, it feels a little flat to me, though. Yeah, I'd probably
Um,
pull the exposure up, make sure we have some whites in there.
Yeah,
Just get a
let's
little
see.
more contrast on it, but
Ooh.
Chelsea's holding down the Alt key so she can see the parts of the picture that are under or overexposed as she adjusts up the whites and blacks.
All those crooked pillars in the back.
Yeah, mind that when you have vertical lines. Either tilt the camera enough that it's officially a Dutch tilt, like everything looks deliberately askew, or straighten them out.
I think this would be good as a black and white picture.
Yeah, I think
'Cause
so
I want
too.
some drama in there,
Yeah.
and you all know that's how it roll.
It is beautiful light. I might even, I dare say it, go for a crop and crop into her left elbow there.
Dare you?
Just because there's a lot in the background that I think is a little unnecessary.
Yeah, actually, I'm seeing it. Yep,
He's seeing it.
I like this. Punk rock.
Yeah, this feels, it's a kind of a classic location for a portrait, right? You find an
Graffiti.
interesting wall, you put the wall at an angle, and you have somebody stand there. She has some sort of light off camera left, I can see by looking at the reflection in her eyes.
The one thing is that the light is very flat on her face. So I just want to put down the exposure and see what's going on in there.
Oh, that recovered really well, fortunately. Sometimes those highlights will be too blown out.
Yeah.
I do feel like her face is a little overexposed. I'll also say this kind of gritty city setting,
Yeah.
which is a thing in portraits, I feel like it establishes a mood, as well as kind of she has a little bit of a punk rock feel with the earrings and the hair, but the lighting doesn't match that mood. So maybe if the lighting were a little more dramatic, the lighting is it's very beauty almost, but her pose and such isn't consistent with that. So maybe even deeper shadows, just less
She's
fill.
beauty.
What does it look like in black and white?
I'm not saying she's not beautiful.
Oh, black
I'm
and
saying
white.
it's not a beauty shot. It has kind of a gritty feel
That's
to it.
cool, Madeline. I actually, at first, I didn't agree with your decision because usually black and white shows off form and lines and texture, but it brings your focus to her face, and the color was a distraction. But I do like both. I think the color is really bright and different, and I like the color, but I also like your idea for black and white.
Yeah, they say different things, and you're right. The colors in the background, even though they're deliberate, they do steal the attention away from her face.
Yeah, I don't think it was a wrong choice. I just think that you have two different pictures with black and white and color, and I like them both. We've got some great pictures. I like this candid picture.
Yeah. Again, I would have a tough time calling it a portrait because it does feel like a candid thing, but
It's candid, but
she's on her phone.
I think it's kind of excellent, actually.
Yeah, it does tell you a lot about her. It looks like she's been hiking the Adirondack and
But look at this
been out there
leading
for a
line
long time.
leading you to this guy.
Yeah.
I really like it.
That's
I'm a
what
big
she's
fan.
been waiting for. That's why she's smiling.
I love it. I'm going to give that a pick. I don't know why. I just really like that shot.
Yeah, you're right. It does have a nice energy to it.
You do too?
I love it.
What? Got the giggles, girl.
Um,
No.
so right away, my first thought was I wanted to crop it.
This space up here, because
That space up
it's
here-
cutting in here, and it makes his arms look like they go on forever right here. Do you see that? Like, it's like, whoa, how wide is this kid's arm? We'll never know. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
we need to call a doctor.
But also we have this grass at the top of the screen, which is just barely intruding into the frame. And anytime something is just barely jutting into the frame, it feels distracting to me. So yeah, I'd crop that out, but also, yeah, get his eyes closer to 1/3, sometimes even a little bit above 1/3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1/3.
I also see that we have a nice green background in there, and one thing people do with portraits of kids is they stand up straight and they take the picture, which
what?
means they're looking down on
There's
the kid.
just way too much sweater in this picture.
Yeah, the sweater's cool, but you're right. It has this effect where his arms look like hulking. It kind of makes his body look huge and his head look tiny
Yeah,
in comparison.
let's go like this.
Yeah, I think that
Oh.
helps so much.
I feel so much better about that.
You've done so much to
Oh, it
restore
doesn't
the
do crop
proportions
for-
of the pictures. But the tip I wanted to give is when you take a picture of a kid, it's good to kneel down, but always think about your background because you've got the gray street as the background. And that can be okay, but I saw a nice green grass back there, which would have a little bit better feel, and you'd get that in the background if you were to get lower. But overall, I think with a little bit of a crop, that picture turned out great.
Yeah.
And the gray background isn't too bad. It's not a big
But
deal.
it's all about his face now. Really, when I first saw the picture, all I could think was like sweater, right?
Yeah, and I was distracted by the background. I
Right.
knew right away he's standing in a street and there's like somebody's yard in the background.
But now
it's
almost
about
a
him.
steely gray background. It brings out his eyes.
Yeah.
It's really all about his face. The sweater is just
Now the
happens
focal
to be
point
wearing a
is his
sweater.
eyes. Yeah, the lighting here turned out great for
I really
a portrait.
like that picture.
I like it.
You like this?
Yeah, she has a great natural smile, and that's something that's pretty rare actually.
She could be really
Her sh-
laughing.
Her shirt is really blown out. Let me say.
Yeah, it can be. This is definitely a scenario where you want to shoot raw, so you can recover those highlights a little bit. But I was going to say you're going to have to
You can just
dodge her
selectively-
face. Yeah,
I'm doing a really slapdash job here, but I think y'all know where I'm going with it.
so yeah, balance those skin tones. You usually want the skin tones towards the right half because you don't want the skin tones to be too dark.
I would use a little fill light, just because here you can see the deep shadows are hiding her eyes, but if I bring down the contrast, it flattens the light on her face, and you can see that it's a bit more flattering.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. She has kind of raccoon eyes. She has these like dark shadows under her eyes. And I actually do see some sort of fill there, but we could use a little more fill. So I think it was done without any control over the lighting, so they did a pretty good job, but a little more control of the lighting could make it even better.
That's terrible. I regret that decision.
Yeah, that's a really uncomfortable
Whoa.
crop on her
Whoa.
hands.
Oh my gosh.
Now her hands are just
I've
kind
gone
of
rogue.
coming in out of nowhere. You don't know if it's her
Let's
hand
get out
or
of here. I'm scared.
you did a terrible thing with that crop. She has a great outfit on. The lighting is really nice.
Great
And
focus.
as far as it being a good portrait, a lot of that depends on whether she has a kind of a strong expression there. And if that conveys her personality, if that is kind of who she is, then I think it's a great portrait. It's not a traditional portrait. You almost always want somebody smiling, and she looks skeptical.
This is an intense baby.
Yeah,
If you
but
can't
if that's
handle it, Tony,
appropriate,
get
if
out of
that's her
here.
personality, then it's a great portrait if you feel that captures her.
Or they might have just caught her out of thinking time. Jake does that.
Madeline's little brother is Jake. I agree. Sometimes people catch me in a thinking time, and then they comment on YouTube that I'm mad
Yeah.
or having a bad day.
You
Or-
guys can't judge a picture by a cover.
Yeah,
Yeah. You got that right.
you got that right. I might. The color's a little rough for me because do you see how the skin tones there's just something a little bit off. They look kind of gray and cool, but then
Oh,
when I
really?
warm them up, they look very orange.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by her skin tones, but we cover this in Chapter 6 of Stunning Digital Photography. You definitely have to go in and get the crusties on kids' mouths.
Yeah, but she's pretty good. She's pretty
Pretty
cool
good for a
baby.
kid, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would still do
It's
a little
nice
touching
picture.
up.
I like the simple background. They did a good job.
That's cool.
I agree. I think this would work well in black and white.
I like the sunglasses.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yes.
sunglasses do work. The rim lighting on her is really nice. She's backlit, so it kind of highlights the lines of her face. The blurred background looks fantastic, and I think that's, it's taken with a nifty 50, that 50 millimeter f1.8, which gives you a great background blur, and I think that's what really makes this picture pop.
Black and white or color?
Hard.
I could go
think
either.
it's good both.
Yeah, I kind of like the color because her sunglasses
Have so much color?
really add a great focal point, and yeah, they have a lot of color.
Who's this? I like the wide angle.
Yeah, I like that too, and I feel like this tells us a lot about her.
Do you see what I mean by wide angle? How it looks
Yeah.
stretched and distorted?
So it's an environmental shot, but I feel like
9
she's
millimeter.
out there all the time. Maybe she's taking care of the land in some way, like she's a gardener or she's a park ranger or something. And her shoes and kind of her outfit makes me
Yeah.
feel like she's at one
She's
with this
taking care of the
particular
land.
spot.
Mm.
And the best portraits really tell you a lot about a place. So
I think she
I'm giving that one a
litters.
5 stars. You think she litters?
Mhm. All the time, just
She
for
does
fun.
not look like a litterer. She looks like she picks up litter after
I
other
think
people.
I think she sees people picking up litter and then she throws her litter and speeds away in her Camaro.
Just to restore the balance of nature.
Yeah, I like that. I
I like
love
that.
this. Me too.
Yeah,
What
right
a
away I'm giving this one
character.
5 stars. This is
I
a
just want to
fantastic
hug him and
picture.
invite him to Christmas. You know what I mean?
Ew.
You do?
I want to call him Grandpa. He looks like a lovable guy.
He really does. Look at that smile. Well
That's
played, sir.
Kurt Tweedle, I think.
What do you mean?
Based on the file name, I think it's Kurt Tweedle.
Kurt Tweedle. 5 stars for Kurt and a pick for Papa.
That is a perfect name for that man.
He is so perfect.
He's a little magenta, though.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the noise on it because they shot it at ISO 10,000 and a shutter speed of 1/1250th, and I don't know of any good reason for that.
Kurt Tweedle is fast.
Yeah, you think they just caught him bouncing around? They had to freeze the shutter
It's
speed.
like, you gotta get him. You gotta get him while he's still, you know?
So if you drop that shutter speed down, we could have gotten to a reasonable ISO. They got the
Yeah.
A7S, which is great in low light, but the noise is still distracting. The
have-
colors are a little off.
I think that the noise and the kind of weird color makes the picture look old. And it's imperfect for sure. Like the settings, I don't know, they probably didn't intend to do that, but it all works. The tweed hat, the Tweedleman,
I
the
totally
double sweater.
I totally agree that it works. It does give it a very vintage feel. If it was deliberate, then I
Brilliant.
applaud you.
You're brilliant.
If it was accidental, for me, I try to get the cleanest image possible and then add the noise and grain and stuff in post.
Oh,
Either way, you got a great result. We gave you 5 stars. And the pick? Did you give him a pick?
yeah.
I gave him,
I
okay.
gave him a picture.
That's our
Or two.
highest honor.
She's so cute. I thought that was a doll.
Yeah.
I thought your child was a doll.
Yeah, this also feels like a very candid shot, but it's a good shot. I do like brightening it some. I feel like that feels more natural. Compositionally, it's a little unconventional because it's violating the rule of space. She's she's looking off the close edge.
Yeah.
The composition would feel more natural if she were on the right side. But also, the horizon is nice and at the rule of thirds, but if you were to kneel down a little bit,
She'd break it.
her head would break the line and her head would be closer to the top. And the eyes are the focal point there. So while it's good to have the horizon at the rule of thirds, it'd be better to have her eyes. So these are rules that can be broken. And depending on the context of this and the meaning of this, it could be great to break them. It feels very unconventional. So if your goal was a conventional portrait, those things would help. If you're doing something unusual, then perfect.
Yeah. That expression, that's the only thing I'm unsure of.
Yeah, again, maybe that is her personality, but it's not clear to me what that means. Well, why don't we jump over and ask Siobhan if there's any feedback that's not about how
Our sound.
much we miss Justin.
Our faces. Or
Does anybody have any questions or comments for us, Siobhan?
Yes, of course. Question on this topic specifically. For outdoor portraits, do you ideally like to use flash, just a reflector, or all natural?
Oh, that's funny because that is my
Ideally-
poll question.
Ideally, I kind of like to be all natural if it works. I mean, right?
Yeah, I think we always start out with all natural light, and then
Yeah.
we get to the point where
You
we
add some
need
fill,
fill.
or
It would
you
look better
need
with
this,
fill or
yeah.
flash, but yeah, I always try to start out with all natural light.
What else, Siobhan?
Well, where is your next photo trip going to be? And are you planning a photo walk with us minions?
Minions. You're so silly. We've never done a photo walk. And we're actually kind of shy in person whenever we meet people.
Yeah, we're just kind of introverts. So I always like to meet people, and like when we were in New York a couple of days ago, what was his name? He had unusual initials, like EJ or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, a guy came up to us and just said hi and said he followed our channel, and we talked a little bit, and that was great. I really enjoyed that. But as far as like planning an event where we met 20 people, that would be tough for an introvert like me.
I always feel like I'm going to disappoint everyone, so I get really shy. Like, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, but our next photo trip, I think, is going to be to Cuba.
yeah. That logistically it can be a difficult place to get to, but I feel like we can make it legal and do it. Just takes a little bit of work. Let's take a look at a couple of portfolios. This portfolio is hosted on Squarespace, and this is Rob Spradlin Photography. And I think this first opening picture is just gorgeous, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this picture is just all about mood. The color is so nice and warm. The lighting is really nice, and this kind of off-center flower. Gorgeous picture of a bald eagle.
They look so serious.
It has some street photography, so there's just a ton of variety in this so far. That's a fantastic
That's
close-up.
beautiful. Yeah, please do.
Okay, it should go live again. I don't know why that happened, but it happens. So we're looking at Rob Spradlin's portfolio.
Rob.
These are his landscape photos, and yeah, that first shot, I can tell he picked the best shot of his portfolio categories for that front page, and that first one is really striking. But this fog picture, don't you think that's
That
great?
is really beautiful.
That's great.
Oh, but
like
watch
it
that
too.
fringing there.
Oh, yeah.
Dandelion,
Thistle.
beautiful.
That was a dandelion.
A thistle.
And watch the saturation here, but that's a great shot.
Ooh, I
Another
like
great
that.
shot. And
What's that?
yeah, Rob has a really distinctive style with his landscapes, which is
Mm-hmm.
very simple compositions, great powerful lines, nothing too complex.
Yeah, I really like that picture.
I like this one. I would give this one a pick too. This reminds me of just Pflugerville. I don't know where it was taken, but it feels like that.
Just straight up Pflugerville.
Yeah, just open expanses that you don't really see up here. Just want to take a picture. Take a look at his wildlife photography really quick. That eagle picture was great.
Rams are cute.
We
It's a
missed
little
focus
out
on
of
the
focus,
eyes
yeah.
here. Yeah, so I would just pull that one. It just didn't turn out.
Oh, wow.
That's a great picture. Great detail in it.
Big goose. That tells a funny story. I like that one.
Yeah, yeah, I like the story behind that one too.
I want to know, Rob.
Great job, Rob.
Guess where he's from?
Sorry.
Montana.
Montana.
I was gonna guess Alabama.
Yeah, beautiful part of the country and just great opportunities for landscape
Really?
photography. I think he's got a pricing page here.
Oh, wait. We reviewed his picture or portfolio before.
Oh, really?
Yes, I remember this picture.
Oh. He's got his prices there. Great portfolio. We gave you a couple of tips about different pictures, but overall, I think the portfolio was in great shape. So thanks for sending it
you had
in.
someone to give an unbiased review of your portfolio.
Yeah, I've thought about it. At this point, people have so much energy about me one way or another, it can be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
I've actually meant to set up a poll to ask people to help me eliminate a picture from my portfolio.
Yeah.
Because, there's always some picture that you have an artificial affection for that you keep in your portfolio because you remember the story behind it, or there's something else, but it's not a picture that outsiders would love.
It's hard to get. You'll do it? Yeah, I believe Madeline would
Okay.
give a good unbiased opinion.
Yeah,
but it's
I
hard
believe
to
that
do it
too.
now because people are like, come back down to earth, Northrup. Like they have just like all these feelings that have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and when you review people's pictures, most people are like, thank you for reviewing my portfolio. And other people are like, oh, somebody needs to review you. You think you're all high and mighty.
Why does this happen to us? They don't realize we're being reviewed constantly.
So left that screen on too long. Rob says, easy for non-techies to use. This is about Squarespace, but powerful enough to customize extensively. Customer service without equal. They really do have great customer service. I have never have any hesitation sending clients to see my Squarespace portfolio. And Squarespace is our sponsor. But we love their website. They make it very easy to make it a website of just about any type, whether it's for your law firm or your doctor's office or whatever. But for photographic portfolios, they look just fantastic. You don't have to be a nerd, but you can be because you can change all your CSS and HTML. Well, I know you, Chelsea. You get in there deep in the latest version of CSS.
That's not true. I am a nerd, but I'm just the least useful kind of nerd. So.
I made a purchase just the other day on a Squarespace website. I
What
bought
did
a
you
print
buy?
from somebody.
From Kyle Wolf?
From Kyle Wolf, yeah.
He's going to sign it for us.
Kyle used his Squarespace portfolio to set it to sell all his prints, and I was like, I want this print, and I bought one. If you decide you want your own Squarespace portfolio, go to squarespace.com/Tony. That'll give you a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. Then if you decide you want to keep it, use the coupon code portfolio, and that'll give you 10% off. We don't get any money for that. That just lets them know that you heard about it through us and helps the show keep going.
I think we should get money.
I totally agree.
Siobhan's laughing. I want to. Yeah, me too. You want new sneakers, so and your feet won't stop growing, so I feel like they should give us money.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, Rob Spradlin, whose portfolio you just looked at, asked if you have any suggestions for someone who has just this week gone full-time pro.
Ooh, congratulations.
Oh, wow. I don't know. That's such a vague question.
I do have a recommendation for you. I'm a part of this group on Facebook. I think it's called In-Person Sales. And I was always all about giving people the digital files because I felt like I never wanted to rip someone off. And I thought the whole print sales thing was kind of a scam. And I did some jobs where people did their own prints and they would send them to me and they were awful and they ruined my pictures. And I started to realize, hey, like the printing process is important. People don't understand crops and they don't understand the quality of a picture and they don't understand that it's not my fault if the color comes out bad. So anyway, my point is in-person sales, it's this group and it's all about, honestly, they can be a little corny because they always post pictures of their checks and they're like, I made $2,000 selling prints. And I think that's really tacky, but they do show you how to order prints and show them to your clients in a way where they're going to want to buy prints from you. They're going to want to buy canvases and things. And I think that's important because you'll make money from your shoot, but if they want something they can hang on their wall, they'll get that through you, and it will be your art represented in a way that you want it seen. And you'll also make money off of ordering the prints. So that would be my recommendation. We actually, I think we're supposed to have a vlog coming up on that from Sam Shannon because she does all the in-person sales. So.
Oh, great! Yeah, she would be great for that. Yeah, and I would just say, just brace yourself. Hopefully, you already have. It's any business when you start it is going to be really tough at first, and you have to work twice as hard for a couple of years, and then things will get easier. You'll build a client base.
You're going to have every person you know ask you for a free wedding, just a little one, or a free shoot of some child or family event or something. And my advice to you would be, if you can't afford it, just say no. Unless it's someone that's always does favors for you. That's another thing.
Yeah, unless you're getting something out of it. When you're an absolute beginner, it can be okay to do free work so you can help build a
like
portfolio.
A wedding or something.
Yeah, and you have to get that kind of experience. If you don't have any experience, your time is worth something, but you don't have that, you don't bring that much to the table.
Yeah.
But as you get more and more professional, you'll still get asked for free work, regardless of how good you are at it. Yeah. Let's go over a couple of points of photo news. This past week, the FAA, who oversees airplanes in the U.S. and air travel, they also oversee drones because they fly in the sky. And a few months back, they kind of said, hey, we're going to loosen up drone restrictions. And then this past week, they find a company who does aerial photography for businesses and such using remote-controlled helicopters.
I saw that. And they responded by saying, $2 million. They responded by saying, we've been doing this longer than you've even put your regulations in place, and we're fine.
Yeah, I did read Skypan International's response. They basically said, we've completely complied with the law.
Yeah.
And we've been very careful to stay out of airspace. But the FAA said, hey, you've been flying drones that weren't registered to us, and you've been doing it in the path of airplanes in illegal airspace.
So they were wrong?
Well, one of them is wrong. And I don't know if the FAA is either accusing them of crimes they didn't commit, or Skypan International is denying crimes that they did commit.
I don't know who to believe.
Yeah, we don't really know. I will say in my experience, law enforcement usually has some evidence.
The government or the business?
Both.
I like the way she thinks.
Great at politics. Future politician
They're
right
probably
here.
both guilty of something, so maybe they should just give up and walk away.
Yeah.
Anyway, I find the whole drone world very interesting because I really want these aerial shots for our videos, but at the same time, it's all kind of technically illegal. And then the FAA kind of says, hey, we're not gonna enforce this stuff, but now we see a $2 million fine coming down. It makes me just very nervous about what to do.
Oh yeah, because we bought that drone and we wanted to put drone shots in our video, but it's illegal.
Yeah, and to make it legal, one of us would have to get a pilot's license.
Sure, I'll go do that. It's
which
just
takes
like,
about 18 months and like $20,000
Yeah,
or something.
fine.
Like, it's a huge,
Matt and I will go do that
long
next week.
commitment.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to fly like real airplanes, and which doesn't even have that much relationship to flying a helicopter. I know, it's a really big deal. So we haven't done that yet.
What about David Updike? What's the story here?
David Updike is completely coincidentally the son of John Updike,
What's that?
a famous author.
Oh.
And he's an author himself. Anyway, he's a Cambridge, Mass resident where I lived for a long time. And he was sitting in a park with his camera, and 6 policemen approached him and started hassling him about the pictures he was taking. And
What was he taking pictures of?
they made this big commotion. They made him go through the pictures on his camera. They made him pull out his smartphone and go through the pictures on his smartphone. Apparently, a neighbor had seen him out there with his camera, and there were kids playing nearby, and they felt like he might be taking pictures of the camera. The neighbor had actually gone up
The kids?
and taken a picture of him with her smartphone. Yeah, taking pictures of the kids in the park.
So is that illegal?
It's not illegal. David has lived there for like a long time. And in this particular day, he had not taken a single picture with his camera. He's probably like me in that he just always carries a camera around just in case. So
Wow, that's sexism. Just because a man is near children doesn't mean he's a pedophile. Get a hold of yourselves, people.
yeah, people jump to the worst conclusions. You can like a camera and be in a public space and not be a total creep. And it's also not illegal. Like, if you want to make sure nobody ever photographs your kids in public places, then you can't put them in public places. It's legal to take pictures in public places, and certainly not an implication of any sort of crime.
That guy we met in New York says he didn't take pictures of children.
It really is a hard thing, and I don't feel like the same standard is applied to women. I feel like it's much more difficult for guys. I mean, certainly women could be criminals in the same way that guys could be.
Which is weird, because I'm just taking pictures of all the kids I want to kidnap all the time.
Exhibit A, people.
I must be in almost all the pictures who people take pictures in. I probably photobomb all of them.
You photobomb every picture? So you're like pro kidnapping.
Yeah.
I really gotta lock you down. You're a danger to yourself.
Anyway, I kind of wanted to open it up for discussion in the commentary. Like, what are the experiences you had? Have you had this kind of problem? Have people been suspicious of you?
Also feel more threatened by men, because I've noticed on our travels, I'll go up to kids and I'll be like, oh, hi, and I'll take pictures, and they're just kind of like, oh, maybe you're a little weird, but you're fine. But when you take pictures of kids, they're always like, where's my mother? I fear for my life. Like, kids have been trained to be afraid of men, and I don't think it's right.
Yeah, it isn't right, and it is something that you deal with as a male photographer, that sort of potential to be creepy, especially if you're doing street photography or something.
But some photographers really are creepy.
This is true, and that's why we get that reputation. Yeah. So we put up a poll earlier talking about whether people use natural light or they use artificial light in portraits, and it looks like almost everybody uses flash diffusers and reflectors as need be. So I think our audience here is pretty well versed in the different tools. Some people, a quarter of the people, rely on only natural light. We did have a different poll.
Poor David. We need to write him. What? Happy birthday, Siobhan!
Yay! Happy birthday, Siobhan!
Siobhan is such a birthday. Tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I take it back.
Her birthday is October 16th.
Contact you tomorrow.
And Madeline's is February 16th. So I remember Spooky Madeline to remember Siobhan's birthday.
Why?
Because October is Halloween.
I am very much just like a spooky Madeline.
Yeah, she is kind of a spooky Madeline. She is cute.
I also wanted to introduce a second poll, which is what future segments we should have for this live show.
Oh,
and this is an open-ended poll, so you can type in your own suggestions.
It's open-ended, but we had some ideas.
Yeah, and I put them in the poll, so they can vote on those, or if you have other ideas, put them in there. I'm curious whether people like having guests on, or if they'd rather have us just flat out just review pictures and portfolios the whole time. I don't know what people like.
I do.
What do people like?
You.
Me, just more toning.
They just want your face
toning hour.
Zoomed in. And I want you to just go over the specs of every camera.
Last week we mentioned that Lightroom had an update, and we kind of warned people don't install it yet because it was a real problem. Lightroom released an apology for how bad that update was, and they released an update to the update. We've been using the new update because we had to, because we needed some other parts of it for the A7S II, and it works better. So I think they fixed the problems. I'm just saying, we told you last week not to do it. All clear.
All clear.
All clear.
All fine.
I mentioned Northrup.photo has a live show recap.
We have live show recaps. We have blogs about other things, how to photograph fall, how to edit eyes. Siobhan is the blog editor as of very recently. And she's going to be culling content, and if you have ideas for blogs that we should do, things you want to learn, things you want to read about, you can contact her. You can comment right now. But her live show recaps are great. They're very funny. She links to specific times in the show that you should pay attention to, and you should check that out.
Yeah, it's a good time. Speaking of Siobhan, you have any questions or comments for us before we look at some more pictures?
Of course I do. Thanks to your videos, I understand the effect of a crop sensor on field of view and f-stop, but is there any effect on distortion?
Yeah, it would pretty much eliminate distortion. Distortion is like curving space where it shouldn't actually be curved, like a pincushion effect, like a fisheye effect.
Yeah.
But it happens in most lenses, and crop sensors would take only the center of the image, and most of the distortion tends to happen at the corners of the image.
Yeah.
So pretty much you get rid of distortion, which is a good thing, but not really a great reason to use a crop sensor, because Lightroom, for example, most software editing apps can completely eliminate distortion automatically. So, but yeah, it would get rid of it.
Can we do chit chat now?
Yeah, you want to jump over to chit chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chit
Chit chat.
This is the part of the show where we read your comments and we offer no useful insight into them. Felipe says, the camera store crew, wow, my most reliable and fun source of info. You should do a collaboration special. Ha 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 ha.
We ran into these guys at the Sony event in New York City. They flew all the way in from far away. Where is it? Calgary, Alberta. And I just want to say they were super nice.
Maybe.
I've always been a fan of their channel, so I was probably all like nerdy and nervous talking to them, but they were really cool
You
guys.
told, his name's Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
You told Chris he was the best model there. And I was like,
He was. That's a
that
good
was
looking
weird
man.
thing to say, but I'll go with it.
Also, that poor model under the candles, right? They had the models in some really uncomfortable.
No, the other two models were fine. There was one model, they had her under this big chunk of candle.
It wasn't even her fault. They just
I
put her
felt
in a terrible
for her.
environment. Anyway, just want to say those guys are as cool as they seem.
They're really nice.
Yeah, they were really nice.
Yeah.
Most people were cool.
What's worse than meeting someone you think is going to be cool and they're a big old weenie?
Yeah, that has happened.
How's the rolling shutter?
Yeah, we didn't test it.
Well, but what we wanted to say was that they're sending us another A7S2 just to try for a month, like soon.
Yeah, to do a more extended review.
Yeah,
so we can.
so-
If you have other questions too, you can write in the review, and we'll wrap up those kinds of follow-up requests. Yeah, we only had it for one night, and so it was kind of tough to get a whole lot out of it.
Bikezilla commented on our Sony A7S2 video, who is this kinder, gentler Chelsea the marketer pod person? And what has she done with the real Chelsea? I would love an A7S2 if only I could crap $3,000. That was an interesting way of putting it. I agree, $3,000 is a lot.
It's a lot to crap.
It's a lot to crap. I
What's
wouldn't
the
even
most
be fun.
you guys have crapped? Good discussion comments.
Just a couple of cents here and there.
Yeah.
Can't imagine crapping that much money. But I was doing a voiceover and I did sound really nice. And I can be professional, but I don't want to be. So that's what happened there. Nico, meanwhile, in Chelsea's mind, OMG, I need to talk. I need to make jokes. I'm so bored. I get so, if you go to our single flash portrait video, Madeline, everyone's like, why is Chelsea sad? Chelsea looks so mad. Why is Chelsea's face like that? Why is Chelsea like this? I got an eye infection. I was bored. Like, I'm allowed to do that.
You look bored.
But every day I'm like, I need to talk. I need to make jokes. I'm so bored. So that's basically my daily, that's like my mantra.
He was right. I think he pretty much
nailed
nailed it.
This man understands me. All right. I thought there was more, but I was wrong.
That's all we have. We'll take a look at a few pictures. This one has,
A child. A dress.
yeah, and it has some heavy toning to it, right? I think one of the challenges is that
She
the
looks so gray.
color in her face is so desaturated, yeah. And yeah, I think going to black and white would help that. I think the dress and the colors in the dress, because it's like a Cinderella dress, is that right?
Sleeping Beauty?
Sleeping Beauty.
Snow White? Captain America?
Captain America. You got me on that one. Anyway, it's a cute picture, but yeah, I think we need to brighten up her face
Let's
a
make her
little bit.
face a color.
Yeah. I think the problem could just be that her face is in shade, so it doesn't have any bright light on it.
Adorable.
Yeah, this is a really cool shot, mostly because of that shallowed up the field and because she
shoes.
has all this activity behind her. I love that one.
That's
I like
great.
the lighting in it. I'm gonna
Pick.
give that one
You
5
love
stars.
it too?
Looks great.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic. This is one of the first like proper portraits that I've seen. And I'm giving it a pick for that. The color and the texture here are just fantastic. The background blur is nice. He's got a thoughtful expression. It's got just a lot of character to it.
I just kissed him.
Great textures in it too, with
Yeah.
the denim jacket and the scarf. Yeah, perfect.
I I love watching Siobhan's family. This guy, how'd he get out there? I like this picture a lot.
Yeah, I like that too. I think it tells us a lot about him. That's great.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna give
great
this
shot.
5 stars. It's really beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't
I
have any
think so, too.
suggestions for it. I feel like you nailed it. The composition feels a little bit unbalanced.
Yes,
to
yes,
me.
because there are 2 parts, this and her, and they're in the same spot. Like you want to balance it, like her here, this part of the bridge here, and then it balances it a little more. But I love her pose and the light. It's a great picture overall. Maybe if you just crop down into it. Come on, Lightroom, read my mind.
So you can control where the background is and relative to the foreground. And if you were to get down low to the ground and shoot up at her, you could have that pillar of the bridge, which is the other
She
focal
is
point, more in line with
stylish.
her.
I love her outfit. Look,
Yeah, she's got a great style. The shallow depth of field was the
She's
right choice
cool.
because of all the people in the background.
pick
I guess
for
I'm just
the.
suggesting. You know what? Even with your crop, that bridge didn't need to be in there. We know it's a bridge now, even though you cropped it in.
Yeah.
That was the right choice. Just a heavier crop.
Yeah.
You
I
did
think
the
I
right
did
thing.
it. I think
You
I
nailed
won.
it.
You won.
Oh, she's so
That's really
happy.
cute.
She loves history
What? Why?
because I think this is a historic building.
Oh,
She's
okay.
at,
I
like-
was seeing like the Lion King on her shirt and didn't know if that was historical at this point. So she was in deep shade, and
Wait, what?
then the photographer added a little bit of fill flash by using looks like an on-camera
But the fill
flash.
flash can make you look shiny. That's the tough thing about fill flash.
Yeah, a flash can
Look at
be
her perfect
difficult
teeth.
to use, especially if you don't have like powder on or something to diffuse it a little bit. And what happens then is your skin actually looks too shiny.
Yeah.
So a softer light would fix that. Putting some powder on her face could fix that. So maybe the flash is a little bit too much. You can use flash exposure compensation, covered in chapter 3 of Stunning Digital Photography, and just dial that back a little bit, and I think it might be a little bit better. Yeah, and so we wanted to convey both the barn and
Yeah.
the subject here and kind of replacement, and I think your crop still does that perfectly. We still see the barn, and we kind of get the feel for it. But yeah, her face is more of the focal point now.
Yeah.
Good crop.
This is an interesting shot. I like it.
Yeah, I think
I'll
it's
go
got just
black
a
and white.
great mood to it. And I think it tells us a lot about her. There's great storytelling in there.
The
I
thing
like that shot too. I'm giving that one a pick.
I really like it.
It's so thoughtful.
I do
I
like
love
black
the
and
mood
white
of
though,
it.
because I think that it focuses you on her body and then this strong leading line and this strong horizon. That is why I like black and white. In color, it's also very good. You see the red boat. It's overall pretty monochromatic. But
yeah, the blue shoes in the background are a little bit of a distraction, which don't need to be there. And then she has like kind of a purple top, which is taking away from her face. Yeah, I think black and white's a great choice for this. Also, I feel like it's a classic, timeless portrait,
yeah, that's what I was
especially
thinking.
with the kind of sailboat in the background. I don't know if I gave this one a pick yet. I think I did. I really like the picture. The overcast light here really helps support her kind of peaceful mood. If there were hard light, the mood wouldn't be supported as perfectly, but that's a really good shot.
I love that
Nicely
shot.
done.
Wow, we got some really great shots. You liked it too?
Yep.
This is nice. The crop at the top. That's the lesson of the day.
Yeah, and generally crop down tighter because here most of the frame is now his shirt. I think maybe we want to leave like a little bit of the sky in there, but you have a little bit in there.
Let's see.
And so in a portrait like this, the focal point is their eyes and their face and their
It's gonna
expression.
be too much, I
That's
think.
the subject.
Hold on. I ruined it.
So cropping down a little bit, just getting a little closer can make a big difference. The background is really nice. I think overall it's a good shot. We're just suggesting going a little bit tighter. I feel like the on-camera flash here, it doesn't always leave the most pleasant catch light, but a little bit of fill light probably did help. It's hard to say. I don't know what the original light was. This is another time when the photographer needs to just crouch down a little bit. It's great when you can get the head to kind of break the horizon And you wanted to include some of the background, so what you did was you put her head in the middle of the frame just so you could have more of the background.
Yeah.
But you could balance that better by just crouching down and shooting more up at her. Good shot though, beautiful light. Here the flash almost makes it feel like a paparazzi shot, like she was surprised, like
Yeah.
she wasn't expecting it, right? Like she's just coming out of the woods, and
It's like, why are you here?
so I feel like just too much flash here. I don't know if it was taken at night, but it feels like it was taken at night.
Yeah, it does feel like it was taken at night.
Yeah, so I would tone that flash way, 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 way down.
Yeah. But I like her casual pose, and she's cute. I like the environment. This is nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bring it up. What do
And-
we have to do here?
The composition is unconventional here in that she's dead center but facing off to the side, but I feel like that's okay. I feel like it adds to the character of it. I feel like it's breaking the rule, but it's doing it deliberately. I like the way that the background is behind her. It was clearly taken at sunset, and that's part of the challenge that you're having in the editing. Is the sky itself is beautiful and very bright, and I think it's an important part of the picture, but at the same time, the dynamic range is so much that it's difficult to get it all balanced. And if you shot raw, that would definitely help. But we're working with a JPEG here. We don't have the original file, so it's a little difficult to recover. But yeah, great shot. I like the composition of it.
Yeah. The hand posing, I see what you were going for, but it just feels a little unnatural to me. Like the first thing I thought is she's posing her hands. And it's just good to know what someone's first impression is. But otherwise, I like the background that you chose, and I like that she's wearing colors. I feel like she's a fun person. I feel like I have a sense for her personality, but I would have had her just take down the hands, I think. And I like her head tilt, too.
Yeah, I totally agree with all that. The hands were the first thing I noticed,
the-
and that's something that comes and goes in the fashion of portrait photography. And it used to be, it almost felt dated to me because in the 80s, everybody was like using their hands in portraits and kind of doing things like this. And now the style is much more casual, much
maybe
more
there's
natural.
a little camera shake here, too, because it's at 1/100th and 160 millimeters.
Yeah, that should have been enough to get a sharp picture, but you're right, there's a certain unsharpness about it. It does feel like a movement.
It's not back focused or anything. I think it's a movement.
Yeah.
And if you'd had it at 1/200th, you would have captured like her without movement a little better.
Yeah, and another way to do that is, and we say it all the time, but just take lots of pictures, because some portion of your pictures are always going to have motion blur or camera shake. And if you were to snap 5 pictures, you could just go through and pick
My
the best
problem with
ones.
that with a portrait, though, was that you can snap a bunch of pictures, but you could have a good expression, but they're moving.
Well, that's another good reason to take a lot of pictures, is that micro expressions change. Like
Yeah.
from a split second to the next, somebody's face will be slightly different.
We're in like rapid fire mode now. We're at 6:15.
Oh, we're over time.
So,
Okay.
He's swimming with a coffee? Where are you at, sir?
Yeah, that's immediately what I asked. Like, what, is he a coffee delivery person? Like, did he just swim in from, I don't know.
Coffee Island?
Yeah. But he's got a great expression.
Yeah, he has a great expression. I love the background. I love the colors. I wish I had those abs. So, I like that. These two are adorable. Oh, what'd you do to the background? You desaturate that?
Oh, don't you do spot color around here?
Yeah, we don't.
they did
we
something
don't
to the
accept that
background.
here. So I would just reduce the whitening on the teeth a little bit. You brighten the eyes a little. I can see that, but I don't think you went too overboard. Maybe dial it back just a tiny bit, and don't desaturate that background.
At least not that much. And if you do, be a little more careful about the selection. Feather your selections, because we noticed it just right away.
Let me see.
Holding down the Alt key so she can see the parts of the picture that are under or overexposed. Yeah, you're right. Black and white, I think, works really great for this.
Now you can see that their teeth are really whitened, but if it weren't for that, I think it'd work a little better.
Yeah.
Siobhan, do you have any more comments? Just cracked my
Of
knuckles.
course
Sorry,
I
guys.
do.
Right into my mic.
Wow, people put in a lot of pictures this week.
Tony, what programming languages do you know, and which is your favorite?
Which is my favorite? I know a lot of programming languages, and I kind of know enough programming languages that they're mostly the same. So sometimes I have to pick up a new programming language for something, and it's not a big deal to adapt from one to the other, just because I know enough of them. But I learned in C, and then C++ and C# and JavaScript, and anyway, lots of scripting languages too. But my favorite was probably C# because it's an extremely structured language, and it means it's a pain to write compared to something like what most web servers are written in, which are loosey-goosey, and you can just hack things together like in JavaScript and reference things inexplicitly. But it makes you write very disciplined, and that means your code is much more reliable. So it takes a little longer to write, but you spend less time troubleshooting it because it's all very structured.
Wow.
Chelsea, what's your favorite programming language?
I've never heard that side of you before, and I never want you to talk about that again.
I just bored you so much in 20 seconds. There's at least like one person out of 15,000 that
thought I
watch
was
this who
going to
knows what I'm
divorce
talking
you
about.
for just like a second. I thought about it. But then I was like, I guess it's impressive. Siobhan, please ask
Something
another
else,
question.
please.
I have a question relevant to that last photo we looked at, which is, do you have advice for taking pictures of older folks? Flattering portraits of older people is the way they worded it.
Well, that can be difficult because I've known some people that are professionals and they're in their 70s, and they want to hide any signs of aging a little bit. So I would do like a bigger, softer light source, which will still show wrinkling and aging, but it will soften it. And trying to remove wrinkles is going to look completely unnatural. And you might find someone that wants that, and that's kind of tough because they're going to want it, but it's going to look terrible. So you're going to have to deal with that. That's like what your client wants. But I would suggest flattering what they have naturally. I know a lot of people want to get rid of wrinkles, but I find them really endearing. And I think there's something nice about a face that's been well worn by smiles and joy and smile wrinkles and these crow's feet. I think that looks beautiful. So for me, I would just try to enhance that and make it look its best. I think you will come across people that will want to diminish it and look smooth, which can be really creepy. But yeah, that's kind of a tough one.
I agree. No cloning out of wrinkles. Try to do
I don't
as
want to
much
clone out wrinkles.
in
I
the
like
camera
them.
as possible.
Yeah.
Soft lighting. Well, but the people might not like them.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, technique-wise, it's going to look creepy if you try to do that. Also, everybody who sees the picture, who knows them, will be like, we know you photoshopped this. And that is even worse because you already know that they have a wrinkle, but now you know that they're insecure about the wrinkles too. So that's something I try to avoid. I would definitely avoid tight headshots like that if that's a concern for the client. I think the wrinkles in our face show a lot of character. And so
but then people freak out about their bodies.
Yeah, it is tough. And I think a lot of us...
Without asking, for me, if I'm editing someone and there's a line that's just a little bit not flattering, let's say the shirt just puffs out in a way that makes them look a little bit bigger, I always bring people in a little bit to look like what I remember them as.
Yeah.
Because I think people want to look like their best versions of themselves, and there's no reason to present to them something less than that and then have them feel bad about it. So if there's something that looks a little distorted or whatever, I'll bring it in, or if you lose a chin, I'll take care of that for them. So yeah, editing can be really difficult though, especially if you're working for a client and not just trying to create something like a beauty shot or something.
Yeah, and it's easy to think that some people don't have a certain level of vanity, especially if it's your great-grandmother. You might think, my great-grandmother she's 98, and she's not really thinking about how she looks, but she is.
Wrinkles or no wrinkles?
Almost everybody is.
Madeline digs wrinkles.
Yeah,
Nobody had any questions
client,
for Madeline. She's the wisest one.
You got to give them what they want, and they might want themselves to look a little bit younger. But
they
big soft light sources, huge soft boxes on axis.
Yeah.
As close to the camera as you can get it. If it's off axis, if it's off to the side, that's going to highlight texture, and that's something you want
to
avoid.
What else, Siobhan? We're going to wrap it up. We're going to go soon.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what else? I have to choose a good one.
That's a really cute
Pick.
picture.
Oops. Click it.
People keep asking about gels and gel flashes. You guys don't use gels, do you?
Yeah, we have.
There's
in
a video in
my
Center
levitation
Photography covering
video. I
gels.
also use them. Yeah, but
But
they're
we don't
asking
often.
about it because next week's challenge is about colors, and I told them they could use gels, so maybe that's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mostly they're used for corrective purposes. We do have a video in Chapter
really
3
like
of Studying
that.
Digital Photography that covers light, but yeah, what about gels? You can just put them on your flash and it changes the color of the light. Or you can put them over light or something.
Yeah, but you can combine them also. We should make a video about it.
Oh, like yellow and blue make green?
Yeah. Goth chick pick. Cool picture pick.
We're over time, so we're kind of flipping. That's a great picture.
Yeah,
That's a great classic
I like this
headshot.
a lot too.
That feels cinematic even. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Her makeup. Yeah.
Siobhan, do you have anything else? Cat pick.
No.
Cats
Well,
are
now
not
people are asking Madeline questions.
Madeline, all right,
Okay.
ask.
You got a question for Matt?
Do you feel obligated to take photography seriously because your parents do it?
No.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear her, but no, she does not.
What else? That's the only question for Madeline?
I'm just pulling this crop in. on
What
this
camera
picture
do
a
you
little bit.
use, Mad?
Tony?
Whatever we have, we just stick her with whatever
All
camera.
of them?
Yeah, you use all of them.
Yeah, it depends. It's pretty much whatever I put in her hand, but she likes to take pictures of animals and she likes to do close-up work, so I'll often give her like a 70D and the Sigma 150 macro because it's frustrating when you can't get beyond that minimum focusing distance. She likes to get pictures of bugs and stuff, so that's what I would often do.
We don't push Madeline into photography at all. She's her own person. She can try whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
Right, Mad?
Yep.
Great picture.
Anything else, Siobhan?
Kyle Wolf wants to know what your opinion is on signing your prints. The internet seems to think you only sign in the back, never sign on your photo or on the mat unless it's a picture of yourself.
Well, for your print, Kyle Wolf, we want it on the front because we are tacky and we want people to know that we have a Kyle Wolf original. I would sign the mat for people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would only want the photo signed if you're interested in the photographer specifically. So Ansel Adams would happily sign a print, but for me, for the most part, I like it to be reminiscent of a painting and signed on it itself.
I have to interrupt you because this woman is gorgeous and adorable and this picture is beautiful. 5 stars and a pick.
Yeah, and so for me, I really like that print, but I also really like Kyle, and so that's why I asked for a signature on it because it's just that combination of it. But it also tells me that Kyle physically handed it, like it's something from him, and I just like that idea. And it would be okay to sign the map, but I just don't know why. Anyway, but maybe the internet feels differently. Maybe people in the comments have different feelings on the signatures.
How is that possible?
It's just the ground is wet, so the sun is reflecting.
Yeah,
my taste is that I like it brighter.
I feel like it's like low tide, and
Yeah.
the water is just barely covering the sand, but the setting is just great.
You know, they're walking on the
It almost
sky.
looks faked with a beautiful
Oh, those are
reflection,
the
but
sky
I think it's
walking
genuine.
people.
And
I thought they were
it's a
walking
gorgeous
in the water.
picture.
Yeah,
You give that one a pick, right? Because that one's perfect. Great shot.
Pumpkin girl.
Yeah, I would crop in a little bit too, but it's a beautiful setting. It's very seasonal, fits into the fall theme pretty well. Yeah, I feel like warming it up fits in well with the fall theme. Good edits.
Okay. That's
Whoa,
really
little
beautiful.
too blown out for me. It's such a cute picture. I'm sure I think they definitely did that in post. But feels a little bright, yeah. Even for a high key shot, it felt a little bright. Okay, dogs are allowed. It was cute.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like that tells me a lot. It's a very artistic portrait. I'm gonna
Cinematic.
give that one a pick too. Great processing on it. Great mood. I don't know if he's an Olympian or an Audi fan.
It's cool. Nice family picture.
Yeah, though they're all looking off camera, which feels weird to me.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah,
This
she
girl's got
looks
some
cool.
cool hair. She must be a Siobhan fan.
Just say that.
Oh,
Happy baby.
that is a super cute picture. What a great expression out of him. Beautiful
That's cute.
colors.
Looks like Kim Kardashian.
That's a good picture, but that might work better in black and white because that chick's jacket in the background is so bright. Wow. That's a
Yeah.
great portrait, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful
A little,
classic
I think,
headshot.
over softening on the skin a little bit, but
Yeah, and I'm also bothered by her like half arm in there.
yeah, but it's still beautiful.
I'd pull it off, the crop it in the right a little bit.
Nice.
Beautiful light,
A
great
little bit
portrait,
blue.
good background. Wouldn't hate moving her away from the background a little more to get some more background blur.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, we got through at least the first round.
Oh, we're so sorry for the sound problems and for being late, but Justin wasn't here as we said, but thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Justin will be back next week, so everything should be clean
Yeah, and
again. Thanks
Thank
for your
you,
patience.
Squarespace, for making the show possible, and thank you, Madeline, for being our guest, and thank you, Siobhan, for being you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you every Thursday at 5 o'clock. Are we back next week, or are we in Photo Expo?
We're back.
Okay.
We'll be here.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Not yet.
No, because I have to do this so people are still watching. I have to go in physically and hit a button. Stop streaming.